All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. If you're not done already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Again, just 2 days left on the October sale. Get in that while you can. We got jobless claims tomorrow. We got more earnings to cover. And then next week, FOMC, of course, and the election. Lots of stuff to go over. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So, big shocker, market closing at 580. But we did have some good whipsaw, right? Gap down, really good slice in the morning. And then a pretty good rally back by the end of the day. Again, went right to that trend line again and then kind of popped back up. And now closing, we closed basically at the lows. But afterwards, we've got Microsoft. That is bidding right now after hours. Just a modest 440. And then we've got Meta here, which took a really good dive, but wiped out a lot of stops here. And if that can recover, that could go, that can get through 6. This has some upside potential for sure. But they definitely wiped out some stops. It appears that their revenues and everything were about, it looks like everything looked pretty much as expected. And that initial sell might have been due to Snapchat, which kind of just gave us a preview, right? Snap having that big day today and obviously reporting yesterday. Meta gapping higher, just getting a free 15 billion or so in market cap. So maybe priced in a little bit and you're seeing Meta come down. It's not, it's even right now, if it were to settle right here, I mean, 585, it's not like, it's basically inside to yesterday's action. But it did get all the way down to about 550 in the 555 on that initial dump. But Microsoft kind of offsetting here. So still settling at 440, and that's the bigger company. NQ holding up for the most part after hours. No real issues here as far as I can see. And we'll see if that continues here. We've got Carvana also reporting as well. Big pop there. And again, my nice stop run there as well. So we'll see if that holds. The reason I bring that up is because we had a 6 Sigma beat in ADP jobs this morning. So again, if you're following one of my tweets, which gets there first, official recession, or Carvana all-time highs, Carvana's winning. So there's 240. And there is some GEX there for 240 for Friday. So if we get above that, we could squeeze up. So Carvana reporting. We also had Roku. That took a hit, down about 5 points in the after hours. Overall, actually not a bad pattern there. We'll see where that opens tomorrow. But overall, big picture, ES here, you're in a tight range. And, this is I'm not even that concerned with this trend line at this point. Let's just get rid of it. It's been traded through a lot. This is kind of the pattern we're watching. This needs a reason to fail currently. And right now, I'm just going to defer to the trend until proven otherwise. There's a lot of hedges out there. I've said this every day this week. I'm going to continue to say it, right? We have all this stuff coming out. The QRA this morning, that was about as expected. Oh, that's why that trend line was all messy. They messed with my chart here. But either way, there we go. It doesn't matter. QRA this morning, that's kind of, as expected with the issuance. ADP, we got jobless claims tomorrow. We've got all this stuff coming up. And this market's kind of like a beach ball underwater. And it's been like that. It's going to need a reason to fail. So right now, markets, again, all things considered, this is getting really tight. If I throw this in on here, you can see, this is something I like to show every now and then, but move's coming, right? Bollinger Bandwidth is collapsing. So we know volatility is coming here. Which direction is it going? Again, I'm just going to defer to the trend until proven otherwise. So right now, we're right into that 58.20 area. That's been a magnet. Again, SPY 580. Look where we closed, right at 580.01. Looks like Meta dipping just a little bit more, 572, Microsoft 430. So basically flat here. But we'll see where this market opens tomorrow. Again, a lot of QGEX at 500. And that's kind of the level. So we're not far from all-time highs. We got Apple and Amazon tomorrow. That might be the difference maker. And Intel, for that matter, as well. Just add that one to the pile. Jobless claims in the morning. So So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of wild stuff going on out here, and it's been a lot of fun to trade here. See NQ bouncing in the after hours. So it looks like it dipped again and now popping back up. So let's see Meta one more time, then we'll move on to the usual. Yeah, Microsoft right back up there. Carvana 230. So we're getting there. All right. So Qs again, obviously, you don't need to tell you higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. As long as that holds, you know, we're going to keep hitting 500. Eventually, it's going to break. So that's kind of my thought process there. And SP, you know, again, getting really tight. ES getting really tight as well. IWM here, green to red day, although, you know, it had a nice pop and it came back in. We kind of went up close to the 225 handle. Actually called out 224 as being kind of max move this morning. And, you know, it overshot by a little bit, but only overshot for about 10 minutes and then came right back down. And, yeah, basically round tripping. But I still really like this pattern here, too. Nice higher lows, equal high, ascending triangle. Dow here, again, kind of faded with everything else by the end of the day. We had Caterpillar, that's a big Dow component. It did come nicely off the lows, though. So I don't really think there's any problems with here. Good, you know, good bounce off the 50 MA. This is also a 382. I did not take this, but nice area right there. Pretty much picture perfect. We also had another big company a lot of people forget about, but this is a big company now, Eli Lilly. Big move off the lows, reclaiming the 200 and technically a higher low. This got defended here. A lot of people were calling the demise of healthcare this morning. Look at Novartis, Nordisk. You know, right into the monthly 20 MA. So looks bad on the daily, head and shoulders, all that stuff, but you got to look at those bigger time frames. All it is just back checking to the 20 here after an amazing run. And red to green. So in sympathy. So XLV, you know, not bad here off the lows. So that's what's going on here with some earnings. But yeah, Dow slightly down. Goldman did finish green, so it's small Dow component there. All right. SMH, we got to talk about SMCI, right? Look at this fake out here. I mean, I was joking about this yesterday, like watch them gap this thing down with AMD misses, and they definitely played with this here. Yeah, just the old get them all, you know, bowled up and then drop it down 10%. AMD taking a hit. SMCI is a fraud. Who would have thought that? Again, charts that look like this and go up on hype a lot of the time, it's just hype, right? Look at Nikola. So their lead auditor resigning. And I mean, you kind of could figure that this was going to be there was some truth to the fraudulent claims. If I were SMCI, I would have gotten out. If I was innocent, I would have said, hey, like, there's a mistake. We messed up. Here's our book. Open our books. We'll pay whatever fine. We'll do whatever. And they did the opposite. They started, like, pulling back their documents, and they kept it all hush-hush. That kind of reeks of guilt to me, just psychologically. And lo and behold, their auditor resigning. A lot of people ask me about dip buys on this. Don't buy something that's being investigated for fraud, number one. Number two, if it lost 40, it's going to 30, and that's where it's probably heading. And, I mean, again, not to use an extreme example, but this is where we're at. You know, this can, you know, do one of these. If there's legit fraud and they're faking everything, who's to say anything's real? This will affect NVIDIA, too. Now, the market doesn't seem too concerned right now. Still got inside bar here on NVIDIA. It's fine for now, but SMCI kind of spooking the sector a little bit here. You still have inside bar here on the daily as well of the SMH. Trend is still up, though. Again, what's the sector that you can play technology with? The one that I've been talking about for 6 months, just use IGV. This one's still strong. Even XBI still looks pretty good here. I like that bull pattern. I don't care about this trend line that much. I like the pattern there. IBB. Same kind of look there. So not all technology is bad. I'm telling you guys that why chase these bloated semis when you could get something that hasn't run yet and now it has run, so I wouldn't chase it now. But either way, IGV holding up, Dow Transport's holding up. That managed to scratch out a gain. Still got a big ascending wedge there as well. A lot of ascending wedges on a lot of charts. All right, rates. That was a story today. We actually had a nice trade this morning in the trading room on the 2-year, and I'm surprised it didn't follow through. So with a 5 sigma, 6 sigma beat in jobs, yields came up here, and we actually got a dip buy. I'm just going to use ZT because that's what we actually traded. Actually got a nice dip buy right near the lows, and we got a good bid off of that. Took some profit on the way up. I thought this had a chance to run. So if you look at this this morning, it was starting to look kind of supportive, and I said, wow, so that's a news failure, right? Bonds are rallying after a strong jobs print, but they couldn't hold, and they finally rolled back over 30s here. Take a look at the 30-year yield. I told you yesterday, like, this could just still be inside bar. That's exactly what it is right now. So yields are still pretty strong, and we'll see jobless claims tomorrow. And I'm telling you, that non-farm payroll number, I mean, if they got 233,000 out the private sector, I mean, what's stopping them from putting a 4 handle up there on Friday? Just saying. So I think yields, a lot of these things like yields, I think could rally into maybe the election, maybe into non-farm payroll, maybe into the FOMC. Gold, we'll talk about in a second. That could be kind of a similar thing. Dollar, perhaps, right? So that's kind of the setup that I think is going to happen if we're going to get turns and kind of market rotation. I think that's kind of where we're going to be looking. Seems obvious, but I mean, what else is there? XHB down 24 cents. So took a hit from DR Horton yesterday, and that did bounce, but it's off the lows, holding the 100. It held where it needed to. 120 is back to bullish. Back below here is, it's in trouble. VNQ flat. I don't love the lower high. It's trying to be kind of a flag, but I'm not in love with it. XLF held up nicely, up 21 cents. KRE held up as well. This helped the Russell really all day, although the Russell did come in back in by the end of the day. Excuse me, and KRE was unable to hold the highs, but again, still in a nice uptrend here. Nice wedge breakout too. You see KBE there doing the same, and then broker dealers, of course, they're at all-time highs. Oil with a nice day. I told you guys yesterday I thought momentum was declining on this, and this could bounce. And we got some favorable news, I think, from OPEC this morning, and then crude inventory is also catching a pretty good bid here off of that. And it held the gains. I think oil's, if this it becomes another higher low, I think the lows are in. I think I've said that anyway, but as long as 67's holding, I think crude's got a bounce in it. Might have an inside day tomorrow, but I think it's setting up here. XLE is still not really performing with crude, right? Look at the move in crude, and I've mentioned this over the last 2-3 weeks. Look at the pop in crude. Look at the pop in crude here. And XLE is just lower low. Got a little bit of a green day and then a lower low, right? It's not reflecting. I think this turns around next week. FOMC, I think that's when this money starts to rotate in some of these other things. So as you can tell, I do like energy. And I think we're getting close to a pivot here. OIH, again, tried to get out of that wedge. Didn't do it. About 53 cents, though. Uranium via CCJ down 79 cents. Nothing broken or terrible. URNM continuing to back off. This is retesting support. You don't want to see it lose support. And NJ, same thing. You don't want to see it lose 23. So full retrace of that breakout. You want to see this bid off of that, or firm up, or put in some type of a pattern. Nat gas here, red, but it did come off the lows. Needs work. Yeah, I got to hold 280. If I can type this in. Yeah, back to Z. Yeah, you want to see this hold here. So you want to see higher lows here and then back above 312. Dollar, again, just bull in sidebar. If the 20 moving average catches up, it can go higher. Simple as that. I think at this point it probably rallies into FOMC. And the Fed, by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but the Fed's going to have to jawbone this thing down, this 2-year. So I know this looks weird because the contract content here. The Fed's going to have to jawbone this thing down because this is above 4.1. There's not really a lot stopping it from going to 4.4. So anyway, Gold, again, new high, new all-time high, new all-time closing high. And we negated that red bar, right? So I said it could be a high, but I'm not betting on it because you didn't have what? Volume, right? You had the candle formation, beautiful engulfing candle, made a new high, closed below the last day low, but not enough volume, really. So again, I think this probably rallies up into mid next week. And then if it's going to top out, it'll be like some type of a big blow off candle into that. I got 28.50 circled. Silver here down 1.6. This is still consolidating. I think that can have one more juice. Platinum, finally, we talked about resistance here, 1060. I didn't think it was going to sell this much, but it did. So good sell there for platinum. That needs to back off. Palladium, told you, 1250 be resistance. That's backing off now too. So right into those levels. The levels are working perfectly. Copper, move is coming. Not going to stay in this range much longer. Give it another day or two. Bitcoin inside hammer, no problems. So not really much to say there. I don't think it really takes too long. I mean, I could see maybe a couple of days here in this range. You know, you just broke out. Like, you know, it's not going to take long for the 20 to catch up. I think that it's likely to do that soon. So, by the way, speaking of, let me take a look at Coinbase. I think they reported, right? Yeah, so down about 10 points. So nothing terrible there, but anyway, let's take a look here. Meta 574, Microsoft right around 440. Let's see NQ. That should be right where it was. So market's down a little bit in the after hours. Let's take a look at everybody's favorite 240, Carvana. And I think Roku finally bouncing here. If that can reclaim this base here, I think that's not bad. I like that weekly setup there on Roku. Nice bull inside bar above the moving averages, trying to reclaim the trend. So we'll see. This all doesn't matter. We could sell off another 500 points here on the NQ between now and this time tomorrow. As long as Tim cooks, it doesn't matter. So, and we'll see if Jeff cooks too. But Tim's the chef. And talked about this a long while back. I said, I don't know if people are bullish enough when we got through here. You got a measured move on this. I mean, I'm not saying it has happened right now or will happen, but if you just draw this in, like, it's not straight, but it doesn't matter. 270, probably a little bit, like right there. 270, 280. Remember when everybody said, "Oh, it's overbought"? That big candle it had. It's not overbought. It's just been consolidating for a year. Now it's bringing. Look at the perfect back test it gave you too. Granted, that was on August 5th. It would have been, it would have been a ballsy dip buy, but it gave it to you. So tomorrow it's all about Apple. Market seems to be flattish in the after hours. We'll see. I think Meta gets back to 6. Microsoft seems to be holding up. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. All about Tim cooking or not cooking. Bonds still selling off as we speak right now in the futures. But yeah, NQ settling at about 520. That's bidding back up. ES 58.48. And yeah, trend is up. And I'm just betting this. With all the hedges that are out there, it just seems like a lot of downside is priced in, and those hedges that will come off even if bad things happen. And that kind of is like upside fuel. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. It needs a reason to fail. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.